Muy buenas tardes. Las colisiones en las vías de tránsito son la segunda de las principales causas de muerte a nivel mundial entre los jóvenes. Si no actuamos en breve, se calcula que el número de funciones causadas por el tránsito aumentará en 80% en los países de ingresos bajos y medios de aquí al 2020.
And it was another reminder for me that after so many years of efforts to try to convince that they don't just happen, that we can do something about them, that for most lay people it is still a concept that accidents are bad luck, they just happen. Road traffic crashes kill 1.3 million people every year around the world. This is more than malaria and slightly less than tuberculosis and HIV, which are the top 3 public health priorities on the global level. They are important, these top 3 public health priorities. They deserve all of our attention. But road traffic deaths deserve just as much attention, and they're not getting it. The distribution of the population by high-income countries, middle-income countries, and lower-income countries. What does it show? It shows a huge discrepancy in these deaths. High-income countries have about 12% of the world population, have less than 9% of the accidents, and have more than half of all the registered vehicles in the world. While low and middle-income countries, it's exactly the opposite. They have about 90% of all the deaths, but less than half of the vehicles. People who die on the roads are people inside cars, because this is the case in the US, in Canada, in Europe, and most of the high-income countries. But globally, half of the people who die on the road are people outside of cars. They are the people who walk, they are the people who cycle, they are the people on motorcycles. And if you look at some countries more in depth, up to 90% of the people dying on the road are people on motorcycles, on bicycles, and on foot. Why? Because our infrastructures are not built for the vulnerable road users that they are. Our infrastructures are built to make transport by car and by truck easier, and we keep ignoring to a large extent the needs of the pedestrians, and the bicyclists and the motorcyclists. People in the poorest countries are much more affected by this problem of road insecurity. We have a big problem, and it's rising. Road traffic deaths are the 9th leading cause of death right now, and if nothing happens, by 2030 they will be the 5th leading cause of death. We have a big problem out there, but we really know what works. We really know what can be done. This is not something that we have to sit and watch happen. This is not the price of development. Road traffic deaths are the price of inaction. They are the price of lack of political will. Seatbelts, for example. They might be the intervention that has saved the most lives among all road safety interventions in the last decades. In the UK, we have a reduction of 35% of hospital admissions since they were introduced. In Australia, more than 20%. We know it from Australia, but we also know it from lower income countries like Mexico, where we can see already good results since the new legislation was adopted in Guadalajara and in León. Again, a cost benefit from 1 to 56, hugely cost effective. Separating traffic through exclusive motorcycle lanes can also reduce injuries. We also know the same for pedestrians. This is an example from Malaysia, where 39% reduction in crashes has been observed after the development of similar programs. Because many people work so much on education, on campaigns, and governments like campaigns because they're visible. But it's my duty to tell you that campaigns by themselves don't make any difference. But a campaign just to say wear your seatbelt or don't drink and drive, at best will improve a little bit the knowledge for a few days, but it is not going to save lives. We have moved from it being a national issue that was addressed nationally and locally to an international issue. And this started probably in 2004 with World Health Day dedicated to road safety. This has led to a number of international steps, international organizations picking it up, calls for more exchange, the UN General Assembly starting to discuss it, and for the first time ever, a global ministerial conference held in Moscow in 2009. That ministerial conference called for a decade of action, which was then officially declared by the UN General Assembly last year. I tell you that we have a goal for this decade of saving 5 million lives by avoiding that the number of deaths at the global level keep increasing from 1.3 million to 1.9 million if nothing happens. We're going to bring this down together with all of you and save 5 million lives over the next 10 years. We never before had so many important political and media figures endorse road safety. We had prime ministers and presidents from more than 30 countries attending events from the UK to Mexico. It's the only decade we're going to have in our lifetime. Let's make sure we don't miss that opportunity. Thank you very much.
Secretaría de Comunicaciones y Transportes. 120 años comunicando a México. Vivir mejor. Gobierno Federal.